everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Bold and Beautiful is killing Finn again, but in a whole new way. Sometimes Bold and Beautiful viewers don't just want to take Finn, hug him and say, "You don't have to act on every impulse, even if the impulse is a kind-hearted one." We feel that way a lot, and we are going to a lot more. How can we be so sure? Come on. Finn has already said that he felt a connection to Luna during his intense reveal of their family tie. He's going to want to forge a relationship with her, maybe even try to get to the root of her mental problems, get her help and get her out of jail. Just don't ask mother-in-law Taylor to weigh in using her skill set as a world-renowned psychiatrist. Here's why. This, of course, is going to be the end of Finn's marriage. Steffi has already made it abundantly clear that she wants nothing to do with her murderous stepdaughter and won't tolerate him having anything to do with her either. But he's not going to be able to help himself any more than he could when he kept gravitating towards Sheila despite his wife's protestations. Plus, unlike with Sheila, who Finn couldn't have steered straight when he was a baby, he couldn't have raised Luna to be a productive, non-lethal member of society. So he's going to feel too guilty to shut her out. The end result of his open heart policy? In essence, he'll be killed again. Sure, a segment of the audience will sympathize with Finn's desire to bond with Luna and make up for lost time. But most of us are gonna be like, no dude. Just no. She locked up your wife and laughed about killing her. She belongs on your no-fly list. When he chooses Luna over Steffi, he'll be dead to us, even though he'll still be running around pining over Steffi as he takes new family portraits with Sheila and Luna. Bold and Beautiful is killing Finn again, but in a whole new way. The soap opera world is no stranger to shocking twists, emotional heartache, and jaw-dropping cliffhangers. But The Bold and the Beautiful has consistently taken those emotions and turned them into true art. One storyline that fans of the show will never forget is the tragic and shocking death of Dr. John Finn Finnegan, a character beloved by audiences and one who had grown into a central figure on the show. In a shocking turn, it seemed like Finn's death would be the ultimate end, yet, in true soap opera fashion, this death is anything but final. And now, in a whole new way, Bold and Beautiful is resurrecting his fate, playing with Finn's emotional and physical survival like never before. Let's face it, when Finn was killed off by a devastating gunshot from the hands of the villainous Sheila Carter, fans were in tears. It felt like the show had done the impossible, killing off a beloved character, someone who was not only a vital part of the show's young generation, but was also tied to the heart of two beloved families, the Forrester and the Spencer clan. His sudden, tragic demise, especially after the joyous union with his wife, Steffi Forrester, was an emotional gut punch. The audience was left reeling, but as is the case with soaps, nothing is ever as permanent as it seems. While Finn's death at the time left fans shattered, now, there's something more insidious, something even more captivating happening in Finn's storyline. A resurrection, but one that feels different. Like it's not really about coming back from the dead. A twist of fate. The return of Finn. The old adage, "No one is ever really gone" in soap operas, rings truer than ever with Finn's death and return. But this time, the plot has taken an unexpected turn. Finn is not just resurrected in the traditional sense. It's a slow burn, a teasing reintroduction that is far more sinister and emotionally complex. His character's revival is not one of the usual soap operatic fare, where characters come back and simply pick up where they left off. Instead, Finn is being killed again in a new, psychological and emotional way. This time, it's not about his physical life being taken, but his mental and emotional well-being being twisted in a way that could very well destroy the person he once was. Sheila's actions, though horrifying, have left lasting psychological scars on Finn that are far worse than any bullet wound. He has been resurrected, but at what cost? The Finn who Steffi married, the Finn who was a loving son and a devoted father, seems to be slipping away. His return is not about picking up the pieces, but rather slowly unraveling everything he once knew. Aftermath of being shot and left for dead has haunted Finn in ways that viewers are only beginning to understand. The writers are taking us on a journey of profound emotional distress as Finn navigates the wreckage of his past, his strained relationship with his wife Steffi, and the overwhelming presence of his mother Sheila. Where the physical Finn may have died in that hospital room, the emotional Finn has died and is still haunting the characters in a different, far more poignant manner. This new killing of Finn is not a literal death, but a slow and painful deconstruction of who he was before the events of that fateful day. And that, in its own way, is far more tragic and devastating than a bullet ever could be. The rebuilding of Finn. The slow psychological unraveling of Finn's character is perhaps the most complex storyline Bold and Beautiful has ever presented. It's not just about dealing with the trauma of being shot and almost dying. It's about Finn being forced to confront the emotional wreckage of his family. He is stuck in a position where his mind is divided, and it seems as though the more he tries to return to normalcy, the more he is sucked back into a world he doesn't belong in. His relationship with Steffi becomes strained, and his very identity is put into question as he faces his mortality on a deeper level. It's an emotional killing, the kind that leaves no scars visible to the naked eye but wounds that cut deeper than any visible injury ever could. The writers have chosen to explore Finn's recovery as an experience that's far from straightforward. It's not a typical hero's return, where the character bounces back and becomes stronger than ever. Instead, Finn is experiencing his own emotional death, one in which he's forced to lose parts of himself. The trauma of his mother's actions, combined with the horrific betrayal he feels, forces him to question everything. The result? A broken, almost hollow version of himself, where he struggles to find peace and meaning in a world that has not been kind. Sheila, the mastermind behind Finn's emotional demise. Of course, at the heart of Finn's unraveling is none other than Sheila Carter. As always, Sheila is a master manipulator, pulling strings and creating chaos in the lives of those who love her victims the most. This time, though, Sheila has become a far more terrifying force. She's not just a mother who shot her son. She's the villain who now has the power to psychologically torment him and his family for years to come. Finn's new struggle is no longer physical survival. He is being slowly killed again by the emotional weight Sheila is placing on him. Sheila's presence lingers like a toxic cloud, making it impossible for Finn to return to the person he once was. Every time he takes a step forward, Sheila is there, reminding him of the trauma, guilt, and confusion. She won't let him go, and she certainly won't let him forget what she's done. The emotional torment she inflicts on Finn is something fans are now witnessing in full force. Sheila's manipulation goes beyond the gunshot. It has grown into a full-scale psychological warfare that is now taking over Finn's life. Steffi and Finn. A love torn apart by trauma. Finn's emotional downfall isn't just about Sheila, it's also about his relationship with Steffi. The love story between Finn and Steffi was once one of the most stable and heartwarming relationships on the show, but the psychological toll of Finn's resurrection is beginning to tear them apart. Steffi, who once believed in the strength of their bond, is now faced with the harsh reality that the man she loves may no longer be the same person. She sees the changes in him, the way he withdraws from her, the way his mind constantly drifts to the trauma of his near-death experience. The intense emotional strain is pushing them both to their breaking points. Their love story is now intertwined with the tragedy of survival. As Steffi desperately tries to piece together the man she loves, she must also deal with the fact that Finn is killing himself again, slowly losing the essence of who he once was. It's heartbreaking to watch, as Steffi fights not just for her husband, but for the hope of the future they once dreamed of. A new kind of killing. Finn's killing is no longer a dramatic moment of shock and loss. Instead, it's a psychological unraveling, a descent into emotional chaos, and a slow erosion of his very identity. It's not just about a bullet to the chest. It's about everything that happens after the shot, the emotional turmoil, the manipulation, and the trauma that lasts far longer than the physical pain. This new type of destruction is more insidious, more heartbreaking, and in many ways, more captivating. As Bold and Beautiful takes us deeper into Finn's journey, we find ourselves questioning, what does it mean to truly survive? What happens when the emotional wounds are deeper than anything?